Hello friends, welcome to CRISC, that is Certified in the Risk and Information System Control, Part 9, Domain 3. Friends, in this video, we'll talk about in continuation of the good practices for testing, that will talk about the testing for the non-technical controls and updating the risk register. So without wasting time, let's start with the today's video. Friends, first we'll discuss about understanding the testing non-technical control in security system. Friends, when we talk about security, it is crucial to include non-technical controls, which encompasses administrative and physical safeguards. And these mechanisms plays a pivotal role in ensuring a comprehensive security framework. Unlike their technical counterparts, which involve software and hardware defenses, non-technical controls focus on human and environmental aspects. Friends, testing these controls is essential for maintaining a robust security posture, ensuring policies, procedures, and physical barriers are effective in mitigating potential threat. First, first we'll discuss about why testing non-technical controls. Friends, the significance of testing non-technical controls lies in their crucial role in complementing technical defenses within an organization's security framework. While technical measures such as firewall, antivirus software, and encryption plays a vital role in protecting digital assets, non-technical controls serve as a first line of defense against threat that technical measures may not fully address. Friends, administrative control such as policies, procedures, and guidelines establish the framework for managing security related activities within an organization. And these controls ensure that employees are aware of security policies, understand their responsibilities, and follow established procedures to safeguard sensitive information and systems. Friends, by testing administrative control, organizations can verify compliance with policies, assess the effectiveness of training program, and identify gaps in the policy enforcement. Friends, similarly, physical control include locks, access control, and surveillance system. Protected physical assets and restrict unauthorized access to sensitive areas. And these controls are essential for safeguarding facilities, equipment, and other physical assets from theft, vandalism, or unauthorized intrusion. Friends, testing physical control help organization to identify weaknesses in physical security infrastructure, evaluate the effectiveness of access control mechanism, and address vulnerabilities that may compromise physical security. Friends, rigorous testing of non-technical controls enable organization to identify vulnerabilities and weaknesses in these areas and strengthen their overall security strategy. And by conducting audits, assessments, and simulations, organization can assess the effectiveness of administrative and physical control, identify area of improvement, and implement corrective measures to enhance security posture. Next friends, next we'll discuss about the types of non-technical control. That will have a closer look at the administrative control. First is about the policies. Friends, organization policies are the cornerstone of administrative control, providing clear guidelines and expectations for security practices within a company. And these policies outline the behavior and procedure that employees and stakeholders must follow to uphold security standards and protect sensitive information and assets. However, to ensure their effectiveness and relevance, it is crucial for organizations to conduct regular review of these policies, and these review help organizations to identify outdated or obsolete policies, address emerging security threat, and update policies to reflect changes in technology, business processes, or regulatory requirement. Friends, during policy review, organizations consider factors such as compliance requirement, business objectives, technology changes, employee feedback, and incident trends. Friends, by incorporating feedback from employees and stakeholders and analyzing incident trends, organizations can identify areas for improvement and strengthen their policies to mitigate security risk effectively. Ultimately, regular policies review help organizations to maintain a strong, healthy security posture. Moving we'll talk about the training. Friends, security awareness training plays an important role in equipping employees with the knowledge and skill necessary to recognize and mitigate security threats effectively. And by providing comprehensive training program, organizations empower their workforce to understand the importance of security measures and adhere to the best practices in safeguarding sensitive information and assets. And through these training initiatives, employees learn to identify common security threats such as phishing attack, malware infection, and social engineering tactics. Moreover, friends, they gain insight into the potential consequences of security breaches and the role they play in maintaining a secure work environment. And by fostering a culture of security awareness, organizations can significantly reduce the risk of security incidents and protect their asset from potential threats. Next type is about audits. Friends, regular audits of security practices and compliance serve as an essential tool in maintaining integrity of an organization's security framework. And by systematically reviewing adherence to the established policies and regulatory requirements, audit help to identify any deviation or shortcomings in security measures. And this proactive approach enables organizations to detect potential vulnerabilities or non-compliance issues promptly. Friends, by addressing these findings in a timely manner, organizations can implement corrective actions to strengthen their security posture and ensure alignment with industry standards and regulations. Ultimately, regular audits play a crucial role in safeguarding against security breaches and maintaining the trust and confidence of stakeholders. Moving next we'll discuss about some more types of non-technical controls, in which we'll explore some physical control. In this, the first point is about the access. Friends, access control measures, particularly those pertaining to physical access, play a critical role in safeguarding sensitive areas within an organization. And by limiting entry to authorized personnel only, these controls mitigate the risk of unauthorized access, theft, or tampering with the valuable assets or sensitive information. Implementing physical access control involve employing mechanisms such as locks, badges, biometric scanners, and surveillance system to monitor and regulate entry to the restricted area. And through the enforcement of access control policies, organizations can prevent unauthorized individuals from gaining entry to the area where they could pose a security threat. Friends, by ensuring that only authorized personnel have access to the sensitive location, organizations can enhance the overall security posture and protect their asset from potential breaches or intrusion. Next, about the surveillance. Friends, surveillance system including camera and other monitoring devices play a crucial role in enhancing security by actively monitoring and recording activities within a facility or designated area. And these systems serve as a deterrent against unauthorized access and activities by providing a visual record of events, deterring potential intruders or individuals engaging in the prohibited behavior. Friends, by continuously monitoring designated area, surveillance system can alert the security personnel to suspicious activities in the real time, enabling prompt intervention and response to the potential security threats. Additionally, recorded footage from surveillance camera can serve as a valuable evidence during investigations into security incident or breaches. Overall, friends, a surveillance system contribute to the overall security posture of an organization by providing a visual deterrent, enabling proactive monitoring and facilitating incident response effort. Moving next friends will discuss about some testing administrative controls, method and the benchmark. In this, the first point is about the review. Friends, policy review are integral component of organizational security practices, providing critical assessment of adherence to established policies and procedures. And these review systematically evaluate the implementation and effectiveness of security policies, identifying any deviation or shortcomings that may exist. By thorough examining organizational practices against policy requirement, review uncover areas for improvement and help mitigate the potential risk or vulnerabilities. And through this process, organizations can ensure that their security measures remain robust and aligned with the industry standards and best practices. Ultimately, friends, policy review contribute to the continuous enhancement of security posture, fostering a proactive approach to the risk management and reinforcing the organization's commitment to safeguarding sensitive information and assets. Next is about the survey. Friends, employee survey serve as a valuable tool for assessing the effectiveness of security training program and gauging awareness of security policies within an organization. Friends, by soliciting feedback directly from employees, organizations can gather insight into the perceived effectiveness of training initiatives, identify area for improvement, and measure the overall level of awareness and understanding of security policies and procedures. And these surveys may include questions about the relevance of training content, the clarity of security policies, and employees' confidence in their ability to recognize and respond to the security threat. Friends, by analyzing survey responses, organizations can identify strengths and weaknesses in their security awareness effort and tailor training program to better meet the need of employees. Additionally, friends, employee survey provide an opportunity for employees to voice concern, to provide suggestions for enhancing security practices, fostering a culture of collaboration and accountability in addressing security challenges. Overall, friends, our employee survey play an important role in ensuring that security training programs are effective in equipping employees with the knowledge and skill necessary to protect against the security threat and uphold organizational security standards. Next, about the compliance. Friends, compliance audit are essential process for verifying adherence to both external regulation and internal policies within an organization. And these audits systematically evaluate the organization practices and procedures to ensure that align with relevant legal requirements, industry standards, and internal policies. And friends, by conducting compliance audit, organizations can identify any gap or deviation from regulatory or policy requirement, enabling them to take corrective actions to address these issues promptly. And these audits provide valuable insight into the organization's compliance status, helping to mitigate legal and regulatory risk and uphold the organization's reputation. Ultimately, friends, compliance audit plays a crucial role in ensuring that the organizations operate ethically, responsibly, and in accordance with the applicable laws and regulations. Next, about the simulation. Friends, in simulation is a scenario based simulation are a powerful tools used to test the practical application of security policies and training in the real world scenario. And by creating simulated scenario that mimic potential security threat or incidents, organizations can assess how well employees respond to the various security challenges and determine the effectiveness of their training program and policies. And these simulations often involve role playing exercises, tabletop discussions, or interactive scenario that require participants to make decisions and take actions based on the organization's security protocol. Friends, through scenario based simulations, organizations can evaluate employees' ability to recognize and mitigate the security threat, assess their adherence to established procedures, and identify areas for improvement in training and policies. And these simulations provide valuable hands-on experience and enable employees to practice their response to security incidents in a controlled environment without exposing the organizations to real risks. Friends, furthermore, the scenario-based simulation help raise the awareness among employees about potential security threat and the importance of adhering to the security protocols. And by experiencing simulated security incidents firsthand, employees gain a deeper understanding of the potential consequences of the security breaches and the critical role they play in maintaining a secure work environment. Moving next friends will discuss about the testing the physical control, that is evaluation technique. In this, the first is about the inspection. Friends, regular inspection of the physical barrier and access control are crucial to maintaining their integrity and functionality within an organization's security infrastructure. And these inspections involve systematically evaluating the condition and effectiveness of physical security measures such as locks, gates, fences, and access control systems. Friends, during inspection, security personnel or designated individuals examine physical barrier and access control for sign of wear and tear, damage, or tampering that may compromise their effectiveness. They verify that locks are functioning correctly, gates are securely closed, and fences are intact, and access control systems are operational. Any issues or deficiencies identified during inspections are promptly addressed through repair or replacement to ensure continued protection of sensitive areas and assets. Moreover, friends, inspection may also involve reviewing surveillance footage, access logs, and incident report to identify any security incidents or unauthorized access attempt that may have occurred since the last inspection. And this proactive approach allows organizations to detect and respond to the security threat in a timely manner, mitigating risks and preventing potential breaches. Friends, by conducting the regular inspection of physical barrier and access control, organizations can maintain a robust security posture, safeguarding their assets, data, and personnel from unauthorized access, theft, and other security threat. Additionally, these inspections demonstrate a commitment to security and compliance with industry standards and regulatory requirements. Next, about the pen testing. Friends, pen testing is also known as penetration testing. Friends, penetration tests on physical security involve simulated attack or intrusion attempt to assess the effectiveness of control in preventing unauthorized access to the sensitive areas or assets within an organization. And these tests, also known as physical penetration test of physical security assessments, aim to identify vulnerabilities and weaknesses in the physical security measures such as locks, access controls, fences, and surveillance system. Friends, during a physical penetration test, skilled security professionals or ethical hackers attempt to bypass or circumvent physical security control using various techniques, tools, and methodologies. And this may include attempting to pick locks, exploit vulnerabilities in access control system, breach perimeter defense, or evade surveillance camera and security personnels. Friends, the goal of a physical penetration test is to identify weaknesses in the physical security measures that could be exploited by the malicious actor to gain unauthorized access to the sensitive area or assets. And by conducting these tests, organizations can assess the resilience of their physical security control and identify areas for improvement to enhance overall security posture. Friends, following up physical penetration testing, organizations receive a detailed report outlining the findings, including identified vulnerabilities, recommendation for remediation, and the best practices for strengthening physical security measures. And by acting on the recommendations provided, organizations can mitigate security risk, strengthen their physical security defenses, and better protect their asset, data, and the personnel from unauthorized access and security breaches. Overall, friends, physical penetration tests play a crucial role in ensuring the effectiveness of physical security control and safeguarding against potential security threats. Next, about the monitoring. Friends, monitoring involves the ongoing evaluation of surveillance and alarm system to assess their performance in detecting and reporting security incidents effectively. And this process includes regular checks and analysis of surveillance camera footage, alarm system alert, and other monitoring data to ensure that these systems are functioning as intended. Friends, during monitoring activities, security personnel or designated individuals review surveillance footage to identify any suspicious activities, unauthorized access attempt, or other security breaches. They also assess the responsiveness and accuracy of alarm system in detecting and reporting security incidents such as breaches, intrusion, or equipment malfunction. Friends, monitoring activities may involve conducting periodic review of surveillance footage, analyzing alarm system logs, and report and verifying the timely response to security alerts. Any anomalies or deficiencies identified during monitoring are promptly investigated and addressed to enhance the overall effectiveness of security system. Friends, by regularly monitoring surveillance and alarm system, organizations can proactively identify security threat, need to incident promptly, and mitigate risk to their asset, data, and personnel. Additionally, monitoring help to ensure compliance with the regulatory requirement and industry for security and surveillance practices. Overall, friends, effective monitoring plays a crucial role in maintaining a robust security posture and safeguarding against potential security breaches and threats. Next, friends, next we'll discuss about the audits, right? Friends, physical security audits are comprehensive evaluation of an organization's security infrastructure, focusing on the physical measures put in place to protect assets, facilities, and personnel. Friends, these audits assess the effectiveness of various physical security control such as access control systems, perimeter defenses, surveillance cameras, alarms, and security personnel procedures. Friends, during a physical security audit, trained professionals or auditors conduct a thorough examination of the organization's security measures. They inspect physical barriers, access points, and surveillance system to identify vulnerabilities, weaknesses, and potential gaps in security. Auditors may also review security policies and procedures, assess compliance with regulatory requirements, and evaluate the overall security posture of the organization. Friends, the primary objective of physical security audit is to identify areas for improvement and recommend measures to enhance the organization's security posture. This may include suggestions for strengthening access controls, improving surveillance coverage, enhancing perimeter security, or implementing additional security measures to mitigate identified risks. Friends, following the audit, organizations receive a detailed report outlining the findings, including vulnerabilities discovered and recommendations for remediation. And by acting on recommendations provided, organizations can address security weaknesses, bolster their physical security defenses, and better protect their assets, facilities, and personnel from potential threat. Moving next we'll discuss about some challenges in the testing non-technical controls, that is common issues and solutions. First, friends, the subjective nature of administrative control introduces the potential for varied interpretation among individuals or groups within an organization. Because these controls often involve policies, procedures, and guidelines that are subject to interpretation, different stakeholders may perceive and implement them differently. And this variability can result in inconsistencies in how security measures are applied and enforced, potentially leading to gaps or weaknesses in the organization's overall security posture. To mitigate the risk associated with subjectivity in administrative control, organizations must establish clear and unambiguous guidelines and standards. By clearly defining expectations and providing detailed instructions, organizations can minimize discrepancies in interpretation and ensure consistency in the implementation of administrative controls. This include developing comprehensive security policies, procedures and guidelines that leave little room for ambiguity and providing adequate training and communication to ensure that all stakeholders understand and adhere to these standards. Friends, furthermore, the regular review and update of administrative controls can help address emerging challenges or changes in the organizational environment, ensuring that the security measure remain relevant and effective over time. And by taking a proactive approach to clarifying and reinforcing administrative controls, organizations can enhance their overall security posture and reduce the potential for subjectivity related vulnerabilities. Next point is about the evolution. Friends, the evolution of physical and administrative control is imperative in response to emerging security threats and evolving organizational needs. As new threats emerge and technology advances, organizations must continuously reassess and adjust their security measure to maintain effectiveness and relevance. Physical control, such as access control systems, surveillance cameras, and perimeter barrier, need to adapt to changing threat landscapes and technological advancement. This may involve upgrading surveillance system to incorporate advanced analytics or deploying biometric authentication method to enhance access control. Regular assessment of physical security measures allow organization to identify vulnerabilities and implement appropriate enhancement to mitigate emerging risks. Similarly, administrative controls, including security policies, procedures, and guidelines, must evolve to address emerging threat and regulatory requirements. Organizations should regularly review and update their administrative control to ensure they remain aligned with industry best practices and regulatory standards. This may involve revising security policies to address new cyber threat, updating procedure to reflect changes in the business processes, or providing additional training to employees on emerging security risks. Friends, by continuously reassessing and adjusting physical and administrative controls in response to emerging threats, organizations can enhance their overall security posture and effectively mitigate the risk. And this proactive approach ensures that security measures remain robust and adaptive, enabling organizations to stay ahead of evolving security challenges and protect their assets, data, and personnel from potential threats. Next we'll discuss about some best practices for testing control. That is, first is about integration. Friends, integrating the testing of non-technical control into the overall security strategy is imperative for organizations aiming to adopt a holistic approach to security. While technical controls like firewall and encryptions are vital component of a robust security framework, non-technical controls such as administrative policies and physical safeguards play an equally essential role in mitigating security risks. Friends, by incorporating the testing of non-technical controls into the broader security strategy, organizations can ensure comprehensive protection against potential threats. And this testing involves evaluating the effectiveness of administrative policies, procedures, and training program, as well as assessing the functionality and reliability of physical security measures like access control and surveillance system. Friends, by identifying vulnerabilities, weaknesses, and gaps in non-technical control through testing, organizations can proactively address them, thereby enhancing their overall security postures. Such integrations lead to several benefits, including comprehensive risk management, improved resilience against security threats, compliance with regulatory standards, and enhanced incident response capabilities. Ultimately, integrating the testing of non-technical controls into the overall security strategy enable organizations to take a proactive and a comprehensive approach to security, thereby better protecting their assets, data, and personnel from the wide range of security threats and vulnerabilities. Next practice is about regular. That is, regular scheduled tests are essential to ensure that the security control remain effective against evolving threats. As the threat landscape continue to evolve, organizations must adapt their security measures to mitigate new risks effectively. Conducting regular tests allow organizations to proactively assess the effectiveness of their security controls and identify any weaknesses or vulnerabilities that may arise over time. And by scheduling tests at the regular interval, organizations can establish a consistent and proactive approach to security testing, enabling them to stay ahead of emerging threats. Additionally, regular testing provides valuable insight into the performance of security control, allowing organizations to make informed decisions about potential enhancement or adjustment to their security posture. Overall, regular scheduled tests are critical for maintaining a strong and a resilient security posture in the face of evolving threats. Next, about the adapt control. Friends, continuously adapting controls and testing method in response to new information and emerging threat is paramount in maintaining a robust security posture. And in the ever-changing landscape of cybersecurity, threats evolve rapidly, requiring organizations to stay agile and proactive in their defense strategies. And by remaining vigilant and responsive to emerging threats, organizations can effectively mitigate risks and protect their assets, data, and personnel. Friends, adapting control involves regularly reviewing and updating security measures to address emerging threats and vulnerabilities. And this may include implementing new security technologies, enhancing access control, or strengthening incident response procedures. Additionally, organizations should continuously assess the effectiveness of their control through regular testing and adjust their strategies accordingly. Similarly, testing methods may evolve to keep pace with changing threats and technologies. Organizations should employ a variety of testing techniques, including pen testing, vulnerability scanning, and social engineering assessment, to identify and address potential weaknesses in their security defenses. Friends, by staying abreast of the latest testing methodologies and tools, organizations can ensure comprehensive coverage and effectiveness in their security testing efforts. Moreover, organizations should leverage threat intelligence and information sharing initiatives to stay informed about emerging threats and trends. And by proactively monitoring for new threats and vulnerabilities, organizations can take preemptive actions to strengthen their defenses and mitigate potential risk before they escalate. In conclusion, continuous adaptation of control and testing method is essential for staying ahead of evolving threats in today's dynamic cybersecurity landscape. And by remaining agile, proactive, and informed, organizations can effectively safeguard their assets and maintain a strong security posture against emerging threat. Moving next. Next, friends, will discuss about some effective risk management through updated risk registers. Friends, in this session, we'll delve into the significance of maintaining an updated risk register for the progression and success of risk mitigation projects within an enterprise. And by keeping the risk register accurate and current, we ensure it serves as a vital resource for ongoing risk management activities, aiding in the identification, assessment, and mitigation of risks. So friends, let's explore the steps and benefit of updating the risk register, ensuring that the risks are effectively managed and controlled across the organization. First, we'll understand the risk register. That is, what is a risk register? Friends, a risk register serves as a crucial document or system within an organization used for recording and tracking risks, their severity, and the actions taken to mitigate them. It provides a centralized repository for identifying, assessing, and managing risks across various projects, initiatives, or operations. The risk register typically includes details such as a description of each identified risk, its potential impact or severity, the likelihood of occurrence, the responsible individual or team, and the status of mitigation effort. And by maintaining a comprehensive risk register, organizations can proactively identify potential threats and vulnerabilities, prioritize the risk mitigation effort, and track the progress of the risk management activities over time. This enables stakeholders to make informed decisions, allocate resources effectively, and minimize the impact of the risks on organizational objectives. Overall, a well-maintained risk register plays a vital role in supporting proactive risk management and fostering a culture of risk awareness and accountability within an organization. Next, we'll discuss about the purpose. Friends, the primary purpose of a risk register is to provide a comprehensive overview of all identified risks and their current status, serving as a tool for effective risk management. And by consolidating information about the various risks facing an organization, the risk register enables stakeholders to gain insight into potential threat, assess their potential impact, and prioritize mitigation efforts. And this centralized repository allows stakeholders to track the status of each risk, including the action taken to address them, the responsible parties, and any associated deadlines or milestones. Additionally, the risk register facilitates communication and collaboration among stakeholders by providing a common framework for discussing and managing the risks. And by regularly updating and reviewing the risk register, organizations can proactively identify emerging risks, monitor the effectiveness of mitigation measures, and make informed decisions to protect against potential threats. Overall, friends, the purpose of a risk register is to support informed decision making, enhance risk awareness, and promote proactive risk management practices within an organization. Moving next we'll discuss about while the updating the risk register, that is key steps in the process. First is about the testing. Friends, regular testing of control measures is crucial to verify the effectiveness in mitigating risks. And this process involves systematically evaluating the performance and reliability of security control, such as access control, intrusion detection system, and data encryption methods to ensure they are functioning as intended. And by conducting regular tests, organizations can identify any weaknesses or vulnerabilities in their control measures and take corrective actions to address them before they are exploited by potential threats. Friends, testing control measures also help organizations validate the adequacy of their risk mitigation strategies and compliance with a regulatory requirement. It provides assurance that the implemented controls are capable of detecting and preventing security incidents, protecting sensitive informations, and maintaining the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of organizational assets. Moreover, regular testing enables organizations to stay ahead of evolving threats and emerging attack vectors by identifying potential gaps in their defenses and adjusting their security posture accordingly. And by adopting a proactive approach to testing, organizations can enhance their overall security posture, reduce the likelihood of security breaches, and minimize the potential impact of cyber threat on their operations and reputations. Next is about the validation. Friends, upon validating a control as effective, it is essential to reassess and document the associated risks. And this process ensures that the effectiveness of the control is reflected accurately in the organization's risk management practices, and that any changes in the risk posture are properly accounted for. Friends, reassessing the risk involves reviewing the control's impact on the likelihood and potential impact of the risk it is intended to mitigate. And this may involve gathering additional evidence or data to confirm the control's effectiveness, considering any residual risk that remain even with the control in place, and evaluating any new risks that may have emerged since the last assessment. Friends, documentation of the reassessment is equally important as it provides transparency and accountability in the risk management process. And this documentation should include details such as date of the reassessment, the rationale behind the decision to validate the control as effective, and adjustment made to the risk assessment based on the validation results, and any follow-up actions or recommendations. Friends, by reassessing and documenting the risk after validating a control as effective, organizations can ensure that their management practices remain accurate, up to date, and aligned with their overall risk tolerance and objectives. And this process helps the organizations to maintain confidence in their control environment and effectively prioritize their risk mitigation efforts. Next is about the milestone. Friends, recording the attainment of milestone in mitigation project is crucial for effectively tracking progress and ensuring the successful implementation of the risk mitigation efforts. Friends, milestones represent significant achievement or stages in the project timelines, indicating progress toward by overall goal or reducing or eliminating identified risks. Friends, by documenting milestone achievements, organizations can monitor progress in real time, identify delays or obstacles, and hold team members accountable for meeting deadlines and delivering results. Furthermore, milestone attainment serve as a tangible evidence of success, which can be communicated to stakeholders, sponsors, and other relevant parties to celebrate achievement and demonstrate progress. Friends, additionally, milestone record provide valuable information for decision making, allowing project managers to allocate resources efficiently and prioritize risk mitigation strategies based on accurate and up-to-date information. Moreover, documenting milestone achievement facilitate post-implementation reviews, enabling organizations to identify lessons learned and refine the risk mitigation process for future projects. Overall, recording milestone attainment is essential for enhancing the risk management practices and improving the overall success of mitigation projects. Next is about the acceptance. Friends, acceptance of the residual risk involve a formal acknowledgement by the risk owner that certain risk level persists even after mitigation effort have been implemented. Residual risks are those that remain after the risk mitigation measures have been applied and represent the remaining level of the risk exposure that the organization is willing to accept. And by accepting the residual risk owner recognize that despite the best effort to mitigate the risk, there are still potential threats or vulnerabilities that could impact the organization. Friends, acceptance of the residual risk is an important aspect of the risk management as it allows organizations to make informed decision about which risk to address and which risk to tolerate based on the factors such as risk appetite, cost benefit analysis, and organizational objectives. Risk owners must carefully evaluate the residual risk associated with each identified threat and determine whether they are within the acceptable tolerance or if further action is necessary to reduce the exposure. Friends, formally accepting the residual risk involve documenting the decision-making process, including the rationale for accepting certain risks, any mitigating factors considered, and any contingency plan in place to address potential impacts. And this documentation help ensure transparency and accountability in the risk management process and provide a basis for ongoing monitoring and review. Moving next friends will discuss about some importance of an updated register. Friends, an accurate and up-to-date risk register is indispensable in the domain of the risk management. It serves as a dynamic tool that reflects the current risk landscape of an organization, enabling risk managers to make informed decisions quickly and effectively. Friends, the risk register provides visibility into ongoing risk mitigation efforts, offering real-time insight into the progress made towards securing assets and reducing the vulnerabilities. Moreover, it facilitates better communication between stakeholders by ensuring that all parties are aware of any changes in the risk level and the effectiveness of control. And this transparency fosters collaboration and alignment across departments and functions, ultimately enhancing the organization's ability to address and manage the risk proactively. Friends, by maintaining an updated risk register, organizations can continuously improve their overall risk posture and resilience to the potential threats, thereby safeguarding their assets, reputation, and long-term viability. Moving next we'll discuss about some risk register in action, that is a case study. First scenario. Friends, in response to the changes in regulation, let's say company XYZ faced heightened operational risks within its operation. And these regulatory changes likely introduced new compliance requirement or altered existing standards impacting various aspects of the company's operations, processes, and procedures. And to address this scenario, company XYZ must undertake the several steps. That is, first, the company need to identify and assess the specific operational risk arising from the regulatory changes. And this involves analyzing how the new regulations affect the different area of the businesses, such as compliance process, supply chain operation, financial reporting, and customer interaction. And once identified, company XYZ should evaluate the severity and potential impact of each operational risks, prioritizing risks based on their likelihood of occurrence and potential consequences. Friends, with a clear understanding of the operational risk, the company can then develop and implement mitigation strategies such as updating internal policies and procedures, enhancing compliance monitoring mechanism, providing employee training on regulatory requirement, and implementing new technologies or control to strengthen the operational resilience. Additionally, company XYZ should establish monitoring mechanism to track the effectiveness of its risk mitigation strategies over time. By conducting regular reviews and assessment to remain proactive in identifying emerging risk and adapting its mitigation effort accordingly. Friends, effective communication with stakeholders, including employees, management, and regulators and investors, is crucial in ensuring that all parties are informed about the regulatory changes and the company's response to mitigate associated risks. Friends, open dialogues foster transparency and trust, while enabling stakeholders to provide valuable feedback and support. Friends, by systematically addressing the operational risks stemming from regulatory changes, company XYZ can navigate the evolving regulatory landscape with confidence and maintaining compliance with relevant laws and regulations, and sustain its business operations effectively. Next, we'll talk about the action. Friends, the action taken by the company XYZ to update their risk register to include new control measures and their testing progresses demonstrate a proactive approach to the risk management. And by incorporating these updates into the risk register, company XYZ ensures that the register remain accurate and up to date, reflecting the organization's evolving risk landscape and mitigation efforts. And this action enables company XYZ to track the implementation and effectiveness of the new control measures, as well as the progress of testing activities aimed at validating these controls. Additionally, friends, updating the risk register enhances visibility into the organization's risk management effort, providing stakeholders with valuable insight into the measure being taken to address operational risks. Overall, friends, this action support company XYZ in effectively managing and mitigating risk, thereby safeguarding the organization's assets, reputations, and long-term success. Next, friends, we'll discuss about outcome. Friends, the outcome of successfully mitigated risk with residual risk accepted and documented by the risk owners reflect a comprehensive and effective risk management approach by company XYZ. By implementing appropriate control measures and mitigation strategies, the organizations has successfully reduced the likelihood and potential impact of identified risk to an acceptable level. The acceptance and documentation of residual risks demonstrate a realistic understanding of the remaining risk exposure and a willingness to manage these risks within acceptable tolerance. Friends, this outcome not only strengthens the company XYZ risk management framework but also foster transparency and accountability within the organization. And by acknowledging and documenting residual risk owners ensures that all stakeholders are aware of the remaining risk landscape and can make informed decisions accordingly. Overall, friends, this outcome reflects company XYZ commitment to proactive risk management and its ability to navigate and mitigate the risk effectively to safeguard its operations and achieve its strategic objectives. Next we'll discuss about some benefits of updated register. First is about the visibility. Friends, ensuring high visibility of the risk and the management status to all stakeholders is essential for effective risk management within company XYZ. And by maintaining transparency and accessibility to the information regarding identified risks, mitigation effort, and their current status, the organization promotes informed decision making and foster a culture of risk awareness and accountability among stakeholders. High visibility of risk allows stakeholders to understand the potential impact and likelihood of various risks, enabling them to prioritize resources and efforts accordingly. Friends, additionally, that the visibility into the risk management activities facilitates timely communication and collaboration among stakeholders, enhancing coordination and alignment in addressing organizational risk. And this transparency also builds trust and confidence among stakeholders as they can see the organization's proactive approach to managing risks and ensuring business resilience. Ultimately, by ensuring high visibility risk and their management status, company XYZ demonstrate their commitment to effective risk governance and its ability to navigate challenges while safeguarding its interest and achieving its objectives. Next, about the decisions. Friends, having access to the comprehensive risk management aids in making informed, timely decisions about the risk control and mitigation within the company, what we have discussed, that is XYZ. And by ensuring that our stakeholders have a clear understanding of the risk faced by the organization, including their likelihood, potential impact, and the current management status. Decision makers can assess the situations effectively and prioritize actions accordingly. And this enables them to allocate resources, implement appropriate control measures, and initiate mitigation effort in a proactive manner, reducing the likelihood of adverse outcomes and minimizing the potential impact of the risks on the organizations. Friends, additionally, having access to up-to-date risk information allows decision makers to respond promptly to emerging threat or changes in the risk landscape, ensuring that the risk management strategies remain relevant and effective. Next, about the communication. Friends, facilitating clear communication regarding risk and controls across the enterprise is essential for effective risk management within the company. And by ensuring that all stakeholders have access to accurate and up-to-date information about identified risks, control measures, and their current status, the organization promotes transparency and alignment in the risk-related decisions. Friends, clear communication enables stakeholders to understand the potential impact of the risk on the organization and the measure in place to mitigate them, fostering a shared understanding of the risk exposure and management strategies. Additionally, transparent communication encourages active engagement and collaboration among stakeholders, allowing for the exchange of insight, perspective, and feedback on the risk-related matters. Friends, this collaborative approach enhances the organization's ability to identify emerging risks, assess their potential impact, and develop effective mitigation strategies collectively. Furthermore, clear communication helps build trust and confidence among stakeholders, as they can see that the organizations value openness and accountability in its risk management practices. Ultimately, by facilitating clearer communication regarding risk and control across the enterprise. Moving next we'll discuss about the best practices of the risk register. First, about the regular updates. Friends, regular updates to the risk register to reflect real-time risk status are crucial for maintaining the accuracy and relevance of the risk management effort within the company XYZ. And by frequently updating the risk register, the organizations ensure that stakeholders have access to the most current information regarding identified risk, that their severity, and the effectiveness of control measures. And this real-time visibility allows stakeholders to make informed decisions and take timely action to address emerging threat or changing risk conditions. Friends, additionally, regular updates to the risk register enable company XYZ to track the progress of the risk mitigation activities and monitor the effectiveness of implemented controls over time. And this iterative approach to the risk management ensures that the organization remains agile and responsive to evolving risk factor, thereby enhancing its ability to proactively manage risk and protect its interest. Furthermore, frequent updates to the risk register demonstrate the organization's commitment to transparency and accountability in its risk management practices, fostering trust and confidence among stakeholders. Moving next, about the stakeholders' involvement. Friends, engaging risk owner and stakeholders in the process of validating and accepting residual risk is critical for effective risk management within the company XYZ. And by involving key stakeholders in this process, the organizations ensure that all relevant perspectives are considered and the decisions regarding residual risk are well informed and supported by the consensus. Friends, stakeholders' involvement begin with identifying and communicating with the risk owners, who are responsible for overseeing specific risk within the organizations. and these individuals possess valuable insight into the nature and the potential impact of the risk within their areas of responsibility and can provide essential input during the validation process. Friends, during the validation process, stakeholders collaborate to assess the residual risk identified after control measures have been implemented. And this involves evaluating the effectiveness of existing control, estimating the remaining risk exposure, and determining whether the residual risks are acceptable within the organization's risk tolerance level. Overall, friends, a stakeholder involvement in validating and accepting residual risk strengthens the company XYZ risk management practices and enhances its ability to effectively identify, assess, and mitigate the risk across the organization. And by fostering a culture of collaboration and accountability, the organization can better navigate uncertainty and protects its interest in an ever-changing business environment. Moving next we'll discuss about the clear documentation. Friends, under the clear documentation, that is maintaining a clear and comprehensive documentation for risk, control and their effectiveness is essential for effective risk management within the company XYZ. And clear documentation provide a structured and organized way to record and track information related to identified risk, control measures and mitigation effort. And this documentation ensure that stakeholders have access to accurate and up-to-date information regarding to the organization's risk landscape, enabling informed decision making and proactive risk management. Friends, clear documentation of the risk include detailed description of the nature, likelihood and potential impact of each identified risks, as well as any relevant contextual information. And this help stakeholders understand the significance of each risk and prioritize their response accordingly. Similarly, documentation of the control measures outline the specific action or strategies implemented to mitigate the risk, including their objectives, responsibilities, and implementation status. And last is about the risk assessment. Friends, conducting a thorough risk assessment post mitigation to identify any remaining risk is a crucial step in the risk management process within the company XYZ. And after implementing process and control measures to mitigate identified risk, it is essential to reassess the risk landscape to determine whether any residual risk remains and to evaluate their potential impact on the organization. Friends, the post-mitigation risk assessment involves a comprehensive review of the effectiveness of the control measures implemented to address identified risks. And this assessment examines whether the control have successfully reduced the likelihood and potential impact of the risk to an acceptable level, as well as whether any new risks have emerged as a result of the mitigation effort. Friends, by conducting thorough risk assessment, post-mitigation, company XYZ can proactively identify and address any remaining risk, thereby strengthening its overall risk management framework and enhancing its resilience to potential threats. Additionally, friends, this process helps ensure that the organization remain vigilant and adaptive in managing risk in an ever-changing business environment. Friends, here we come to the end of this part. That is end of part 9, domain 3, presented by ISACA Preparation Academy. Friends, please do watch, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates. Thank you.